Ladies and gentlemen, what you are looking at is my 50s style Chibson Les Paul Black Beauty. I was gonna call it a 57, but really it's not. It's more 59 than anything. Kind of like the latest Joe Bonamassa 1959 two pickup with the Bigsby that he just come out with. This is kind of along the lines of that style, but I just figured I'd make this video and kind of go through some of the things that I did to this guitar, kind of show you how to make them a little bit better. This one I got from private seller on Marketplace. Pretty awesome little guitar, but it needed a few things. But the guy that I got it from actually polished and leveled all the frets on it, which is pretty cool. This one actually has fret nibs on the side, if you see that there. Pretty awesome. So I guess I'm gonna start with the headstock, show you what I've done up here. These inlays, you can see that rainbowing effect actually look like mother of pearl. I think they are. The binding is pretty slick, looks good. That truss rod cover I got off Amazon. I'll show you the original one in a second. But the tuners were non-original Grovers, but I used this guy on eBay called Stigatsu, and he parts out brand new Epiphone inspired by Chibson guitars, and it's a pretty affordable price to do that stuff. So here's the new truss rod cover that I've thrown on here, and I'm going to show you the old one. This is all the parts that I've swapped, minus the wiring is not in this bag. I just kept all the old hardware and stuff. But this truss rod cover looked awful. I did not care for it. It just looks cheap. Just not right to me. So get that shot right there. There's that one, and then there's this one. And you can just tell it's more refined, beautiful looking. So from there, I actually put some pencil lead inside the slots of this nut. I believe this is just like a nylon or plastic. I don't believe it's anything special like bone or anything. And the guy that I got it from didn't mention putting a bone nut on it. Coming down here, I swapped out these pickups with 57 Classic PAF clones. There's an 8.4 in the bridge and a 7.3 in the neck. Original pick guard, believe it or not. It's actually pretty sweet looking. I was going to change out the pickup screws on the surround areas to black, like an original Black Beauty, but I didn't care to do that. I did swap out the pick guard screw, which I will show you if I have them handy. Actually, I don't. But actually, yes, I do. So I bought these off Amazon for $5. These are pickguard screws. You can get 100 of them for $4.99. They come in this package. I swapped out this pickguard screw up here because it didn't look very good and shiny. But this came on countersunk, so I had to take a drill bit and I went by hand. Found the correct size of the head of screw and did everything by hand with the drill bit, removed a little material, got it nice and flat down in there. Next, something that I bought from Stigatsu, he parted out an LP Custom, so I actually bought the hardware off of it. Right here, this tailpiece and this bridge as well is what I ended up getting off of him. For $20, I believe it was only $20. But these new are Epi inspired by Gibson's versus the old hardware here. These screws actually for this bridge post, they're still slot headed. They're the big Epi style, but it actually has like a thumb wheel like mounted underneath the bridge, which I thought that was kind of neat looking. So the knobs have been changed out to a 50 spec. with pointers, and that all came in the next purchase that I'll tell you about from Stigatsu. And it is this 1950s Epiphone Les Paul custom Joe Bonamassa wiring harness that he pulled off. The only thing that I don't like about this is the quick plug for the switch. And I could have deleted that, but I didn't. Originally, the switch that came with this harness was gold, not gold. It was silver with a gold nut and washer. And I've noticed that a lot of newer Epiphones are doing that, and I don't really care for that. So I actually left the stock switch in here, and it was branded Epiphone, but I kind of doubt it is an Epiphone. I just tied it into the quick plug wiring harness to make it go a little faster. It actually had quick plugs for the pickups as well, which Stigatsu had the Epi Les Paul custom pickups on his site for sale, but I decided not to buy them because I've bought a pair of these PAF clones in the front here a few times, and I've been really impressed with them. They're under $60, so I've decided to go with those because they actually are only a 2-wire connection, and they're braided like metal and cloth like looking wire, the old school vintage style. One of the other things I did was I bought one of them Les Paul custom medallions, and this one actually dropped right into the toggle switch area with no modifications, and it came with the gold screws to mount in. One thing that I did not like that this guitar came with from the guy in Marketplace was it had different strap buttons that were actually like Fender Stratocaster looking style ones, like the more pointed, angled, and these are more of the mushroom looking style. I bought these on Amazon for $7.99, and I believe I've got 3 or 4 sets of them for $8, which was a great deal. So I have more in my stockpile to keep up on other things if I want to start another project down the road. Did that on the top and bottom, obviously. Now that harness did come with the Les Paul custom jack plate and the jack, the gold nut and washer. I believe it even came with the jack plate screws, if I remember right, and it bolted right up to this. The knobs were included with that harness. But other than that, like I said, the guy polished and leveled the frets on this, and it sounds awesome. I actually played it out last Wednesday at my church, our worship team, but I'm just gonna say I can't say that this model's anything specific, because if I pull up my book here, I have this big guitar collection book, and when I was going through it, if you can find it quick enough, the Black Beauties from the era, believe it or not, were more pointed in the horn area of the guitar. I'm gonna try to find these Gibsons in here. Here we are. 2 more seconds. Pull you up some cool pics. So this book I got from a friend of mine, but I use it for reference all the time to look at different guitars and stuff. So these are the standards, and then before that, I believe the Black Beauties are in here. Yes. So as you can see on the 56, these 56 and 57 models, even that triple pickup there is a 57. But what I'd like to point out is, if you can see, the horn is a little more pointed on that model, and on this one, same deal. Horn's actually pointed on the body, but the binding is pretty rounded off, so it kind of follows suit to that 50s looking era. Mine's not relic or anything. I like very clean looking examples of guitars and stuff. So if it does get relicked, it'll be by me over time by just playing it and stuff. Didn't change out the back plate, although I have heard that you can use Epiphone black back plates for the guitar, but this is just a stock back plate, and the original toggle switch cover is right here. It's just a blacked out round, and there's the original poker chip that came with it, which I actually did change out. Came with these little speed knobs, didn't really care for them. This is just all the whole hardware. Came with fake Grovers. But yeah, I actually did change out this poker chip to a thicker one. That one was kind of paper thin and I didn't care for it. But yeah, this is the Black Beauty. Documentation, mod series, build series, whatever you want to call it. Picked this thing up for $275 marketplace last month and slowly put it together. Honestly, I think between everything that I've done to it, I've got less than 500 into it, I believe. But that's not all, you know, at once. You slowly buy things within a month or a month and a half. I don't know. I've had this for a little bit now, and I've slowly bought parts for it. I actually bought some parts the day that I went to go and purchase it for it. But I mean, it's pretty cool guitar, and it sounds really good. So, all right, I'll see y'all later.